What's up guys, it's me, Straw Hat Nate, and I'm back with a new Boruto video. This month we got Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Chapter 8, titled Pointless Matter. And to be blunt, this chapter is mainly exposition about Ada. And Ada and her thoughts are the main focus of this chapter, as Mitsuki was the main focus of last chapter. But don't worry, because the latter end of the chapter picks up speed rapidly because the Shinju start to make their first moves. This is obviously a huge deal since the Shinju are like the new Akatsuki of the Boruto manga. And Boruto himself takes a backseat in this chapter, but obviously they still talk about him a lot. And there's also somewhat of a Himawari reveal in the end, if you can even call it that. So watch till the end where I talk about this reveal, and let's get right into the chapter from the beginning, after you like the video and subscribe to the channel. The cover this month, to note, shows Jura, the new big villain of the Boruto manga, and he's there because he plays a big role in this chapter. Now the actual chapter begins with Ada dreaming, just like Mitsuki dreamed last chapter, and she's thinking about Boruto saying that he is her son and to follow him. And slowly it seems that Boruto is bringing all of the important characters to his side by simply just existing. And remember, there's a possibility that Ada falls in love with Boruto since he's an Otsutsuki, and she only loves Otsutsuki because they aren't affected by her charm, so it's not an artificial love. That's why she loves Kawaki currently. And back to reality with her current love, Kawaki, he commands her to tell the group Boruto's location so they can go get him. And Delta, or like a newer model of Delta, is here, and she's mad that Kawaki is even disrespecting Ada like this, showing that she's only loyal to Ada, not Kawaki. And Ada tells them the location of Boruto, and then the two of them fly off. In the sky, Delta threatens to kill Kawaki if Ada ever grows to dislike him, but Kawaki isn't really too scared by Delta's threats. But for a brief moment now, we see a Clawgrime running through the forest, and this Clawgrime will be important later in the chapter, so remember him. Then we pick back up with the conversation between Boruto and Shikamaru discussing the Shinju. This is all news to Shikamaru, and he asks if these divine trees are planet threatening, like the divine tree in the Fourth Great Shinobi War. And Boruto, the more educated one, tells him that they're only dangerous if he or Kawaki is eaten, since they're Otsutsuki, and then it will become a complete divine tree. And Shikamaru then brings up Moegi and the others who were eaten by these Clawgrimes, and Boruto isn't sure what the Clawgrimes' motives are for taking these regular people and taking their chakra from them, so that just stays a mystery. And next, Shikamaru is interrupted with a transmission from the other side of this conflict, Kawaki. And before he talks to Kawaki, he ensures with Ino that nobody else can hear this conversation, so he's being really cautious. And then Kawaki joins the call and basically says that he's just closing in on Boruto right now. He and Delta plan on surprising him with an attack, but ironically it's not a surprise anymore because Boruto is listening in on the conversation. And Shikamaru warns Kawaki to wait for backup, but Kawaki just wants to rush in blindfolded just in case Boruto decides to run away at this time. Back to Boruto now, briefly. We see him quickly vanish, saying goodbye to Shikamaru, and he's probably teleporting to another dimension far away from Konoha. Maybe he's going back to where the Sasuke tree is and Kashin Koji was. And now that he has disappeared, Kawaki is stumped because he can't feel Boruto's presence anymore. But he seems to be suspicious of Shikamaru, being the middleman between him and Boruto, which he actually is, but it's kind of dangerous that Kawaki might know this. Now we cut to the part of the chapter mainly about feelings, Ada and Mitsuki's feelings to be precise, and Mitsuki meets up with her on her balcony, and at first they share the fact that Kawaki is kind of being a bitch, so they're doubting him as their son. And Mitsuki also lets Ada know that she's the only reason he is capable of knowing what love feels like. Since Mitsuki is an artificial clone, Ada's false charm is the only real love that Mitsuki has ever felt, which is sad. He tells her that he used to think that love was unnecessary as long as he felt the light of his son shining on him, and his son being Kawaki, but he recently found out that this is wrong. He needs to be able to affirm himself and his own feelings, which shows great character growth for Mitsuki. And it's because of Boruto's help last chapter that Mitsuki was able to grow as a character. Mitsuki then talks to Ada about how they are similar in the way that they loved Kawaki, but they don't know why. In like a therapeutic way, Mitsuki talks about how Kawaki may not be his son, which Ada has to also think about herself. They're getting really deep emotionally now, and Ada points this out, which causes Mitsuki to even blush, something that we never seen from Mitsuki before, showing a more human side of him. But this scene ends with the most important takeaway, that Ada is thinking about that dream she had of Boruto being her son, and she's considering it as a possibility. Now that Ada and Mitsuki's therapy session is done, we get to the meat of the chapter. In the Ten Tails dimension, Jura, the leader of the Shinju, simply says soon to Hidari, the Sasuke-looking Shinju. And with this, he goes through a claw mark on the wall and ends up on a claw grime that I mentioned earlier running through the forest next to Konoha. And two Shinju pop out of this claw grime and land at the front gates of Konoha now. So this is pretty bad. The first reaction is Ino with the sensory unit, who immediately notifies the 8th Hokage Shikamaru, because he needs to be able to make decisions about what to do. She cannot recognize Jura's chakra, but she does in fact recognize Hidari's chakra as the chakra of Sasuke. And it seems that Sarada also senses this too, because we see her reaction in a singular panel. And Ada also notifies Hokage Shikamaru of the presence of these two Shinju, showing that she's starting to care about the safety of the village. The Shinju are looking for Naruto Uzumaki, but they kind of seem just clueless on where to look. They're just trying to get a grasp of his chakra signature. And 5 Jonin then attempt to stop them, but Jura easily and brutally skewers all of them with spikes. And then, just casually after he does that, they stop at a bookstore. And this is probably because Jura has been shown to be fascinated by knowledge already. They are quickly interrupted though because Kawaki comes in swinging, and Jura lets Kawaki know that he considers the bookstore to be treasure, so they gotta stay away from it, and then he entraps Kawaki in a tree. Kawaki utilizes Sukuna Hikona, Ishiki's ability, to shrink himself away from Jura's next attack, and he pops up behind Jura to attack with his big mutated arm, but Jura literally punches through this arm. And after Kawaki is absolutely dumbfounded by his arm being blown up, Jura then punches him across the sky into the same water tower that Naruto and Sasuke fought next to a long time ago. So this is a nice callback. Jura now thinks that he senses Naruto in the distance because he feels a tailed beast. And what could this be? Because we know that Naruto has lost Kurama, the Ninetales. Well, we cut to Shikadai, Inojin, Chocho, and their new friend Himawari running into this battle, and Jura lands in front of the team, looking straight at Himawari, but he's confused because he thinks that he's sensing Naruto from her. This might just be because she's Naruto's daughter, but I don't think so. I think that he's confusing her with a Jinchuriki because she is one. She could be a new Jinchuriki for Kurama, the Ninetales, after he's been reincarnated. But then there's also a theory that she's the Jinchuriki for Shukaku, the One-Tails. Shukaku has been shown in the Boruto anime to be living in the Uzumaki household, so maybe it could make sense that Himawari formed a bond with him. But that's the end of this chapter. I personally think the chapter was saved by the end of it. The Shinju jumping into action this quickly is shocking to me because they seem to be too powerful for anyone in the village to deal with, especially now that Boruto is gone. They might be screwed by just two Shinju coming. Another thing that we have to hone in on is the possibility that Ada and Mitsuki will both join the good side, Boruto side, soon. I feel like nobody likes Kawaki anymore, so Ada and Mitsuki might switch sides. And we know now that a big Himawari reveal is coming in the next chapter, but I still don't think that it'll be able to save the village from these two Shinju. But you know that I will be back here with a video next month discussing Himawari's new powers whenever she reveals them. So if you made it to the end of this video, like and subscribe to help me out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.